Hi, I'm Ken Adams, author of A Manual Style for Contract Drafting and head of Adams Contracts, the division of LegalSifter. Today, we're going to discuss the concept of being an informed consumer of contract language. And rather than rely on my own speculation, I thought I'd bring together people who've taken part in my online training course, Drafting Clearer Contracts Masterclass. So if you could introduce yourselves to those listening. Kate, would you mind taking the lead?
Sure. My name is Kaitlyn Fydenkevez, and I am an attorney in private practice, focusing in the area of consumer and health data privacy.
Laura.
Hi, I'm Laura Briscoe. I am a contracts manager. Found myself in this world of legalese and contracts probably in the last year and a half, so relatively new to it, and a graduate of Ken's masterclass, his most recent session.
Adam.
I'm Adam Tabor. I'm an attorney. Right now, I'm working with some pro bono clients as I look for a full-time gig, but I've taken masterclass twice because I thought the material was both challenging and intriguing enough that it warranted me taking the class twice to really understand it. I've had 2 years now, 2+ years of contracts, drafting, negotiation, structuring experience, and I don't think I would have gotten through the first 3 months of that without having taken masterclass.
Okay. So as I suggested, the topic is being an informed consumer of contract language. By that, I mean is having a command of the words and phrases and basic concepts that are applied in any kind of contract. It's a matter of knowing how to look after yourself. It is not the entirety of the subject because that you have out there just the vast area of what you want to say in a contract, the subject matter expertise, but it's not going to work out very well unless you are an informed consumer, able to handle the components that you build together to address a given kind of transaction. I've had occasion to do a blog post that essentially says, if you want to be an informed consumer of contract language, you're going to need to consult a manual style for contract drafting. And I think that just reflects that that book is the only work that attempts to address the subject comprehensively. No one else appears to have had the appetite to do that. And I can't say I blame them because it has created a rather specialized sort of livelihood. Very exciting for me, but that's perhaps just because I'm nerdy in that way. But when it comes to considering the implications of being an informed consumer of contract language, I am not the best person to speak with simply because I haven't done deals for more than 20 years. I have long been a spectator. So what I have to say is mostly going to be semi-informed speculation. So that's why I thought it a good idea to have Adam, Kate, and Laura join me, simply because I enjoyed having them take part in masterclass. And I'd certainly be interested to hear what they have to say, and I thought you might too. So we can now leap into things. One thing I've wondered is how being an informed consumer of contract language might affect how you interact with people working on a deal, people on the other side of the table, people on your side of the table, and how it might affect how you consider your work generally. So, Laura, do you want to get the ball rolling on that?
Sure. First thing that comes to mind is it wrong if I laugh when I come across somebody's draft and their recitals are enumerated and they all begin with whereas in capital letters? So immediately some perceptions start to form in my mind. And that's just as of reading certain chapters in, the manual of style of contract drafting. And I have to say that becoming an informed consumer, and I love the way that you put that, Ken, is probably just the first step in my journey to just opening my eyes and really seeing then, well, what is the other side of the table? Where are they coming from when they just go through the copy and paste, and do they even know what their contracts are saying? So it makes me really like stop to look for, I think, some deeper areas of, just being more in tune with their language and, potential cases of ambiguity where I might have just glossed over it before with the same feeling of like, oh, this is the standard clause. I've seen this dozens and dozens of times now. But slowing down, I think, and not being afraid to raise the argument, whereas before I might have hesitated a beat or two, right?
Yeah, perhaps it's a matter of giving you some control and just making you aware of the landscape that otherwise would be hidden. It's like, oh, all this stuff suddenly comes to life. Adam?
So I've run into what I would consider two camps of folks receiving contract language, reading it, producing it. One that has been cranking the copy and paste machine that you talk about in a lot of your blog posts, Ken, and the other usually new to contracts completely, or not new, but usually business folks who are a little more concerned about touching the contract language. And anytime I've introduced a principle or two from the manual style for contract drafting, I've noticed that first camp that has been turning the copy and paste machine for longer, there's a lot more inertia, a lot more reactivity to introducing these new principles. Whereas, interestingly enough, folks from the business side, maybe they're software developers, maybe they're program managers, maybe they're sales and marketing executives, when they compare the language used in a given instance from manual style of contract drafting to something that's more traditionally dysfunctional, the question is always, why aren't we using the simpler version, the one that is from the manual style of contract drafting, which I find telling because it is more accessible and more reflective of the deal from the perspective of the business people who are trying to hammer the deal out from a business perspective.
Sure, understood. Kate?
Yeah, so for me, becoming an informed consumer of contract language was sort of like, I liken it to if someone just brought me to an auto garage and taught me everything that's under the hood of my car. Right now, I put the keys in my car, I turn the keys, the engine turns over, and I don't know what else is happening. The car's just going. Prior to taking masterclass, that's pretty much how I felt about contracts. I can read the words on the page. I obviously understand them, but there wasn't that feeling that the words are churning this bigger, deal or understanding of a concept that's underneath it. Whether it's, Ken, your blog posts that are giving that bite size, focusing on one concept, or in masterclass where, again, you're pulling back the hood and you're thinking about going through from the top of the contract all the way to the back of it. It builds a confidence in being able to say, not only do I understand what's on the page, I understand how I can change that meaning if I want to reflect, for me, my clients' needs or their wants that may have changed over time. So the ability to see everything in the toolbox versus just seeing the words and trying to parse meaning with nothing underneath it has really changed for me the confidence of what I'm being able to give my clients, not just right now, but to ensure for them in the future.
Oh, that's great.